Buddy, I had a noise factor there. I apologize on the first part of my end of my video there, so I had to change locations and go into one of my little Zen quiet areas here. So we went back. The last thing we talked about was um, balancing out with the parasympathetic nervous system. So when that system kicks in fully, that system can help bring your body back into what we'd say as scientists or in the Western physiology, homeostasis. Simply speaking, a point of balance. Eastern terminology, a point of harmony, mind, body, spirit, if you will, connection and balance. Very, very important. Now, how can we do that? A lot of my background is scientific, academic, my degrees in academic study in areas, but I have a very extensive background experientially in Eastern disciplines. I did my high school or growing up years in the Republic of China, spent time overseas, studied Kung Fu, all different forms of martial arts in Eastern disciplines, meditation, studied at Zen temples, the Eastern disciplines. So what I do and what I like to share and deliver to you is a balance of East and West, or my academic and my experiential experiences. So there's a lot of times things are very theoretical to us or philosophical. I've studied all areas of science, philosophy, psychology, sociology, quantum physics, astronomy, and I try to balance all these things. Now, in balance in Eastern terms has always a lot to do with breathing. All of the Eastern disciplines, again, start with breath control, and they move out from there. Now, I want to make a point to you that everything you do, you have control over. We're creatures of habit, and a lot of conditioning and what the psychologists would say behavioralists, condition and response. So like a Skinner box, a little bird goes and gets fed, and if they're going to the wrong door, they get shocked, and it conditions a response where they're going to go to the right door each time. So human beings are very much that way. We kind of unfortunately condition ourselves sometimes into negative responses, especially to stressful situations. So let's go back to science for a moment. You open and close your hand. How does that happen? Well, the muscles work. Ultimately, it comes from the central nervous system, or you think about doing that. That's your voluntary nervous system. When you get into fight or flight and stress, your involuntary autonomic nervous system kicks in. You don't really have control of that. But my point is, just the breathing. Go back to your somatic nervous system where you have control of it. You think about opening and closing your hand. You tell yourself to do that. So it's just a matter of conditioning. The Star Trek thing, if you haven't done that, it's going to be awkward until you get mind and body to coordinate to where you practice a little bit, then it's easy to do it. If you grew up as a Trekkie, you can do that pretty easy. My kids had to learn to do it. So my point is mind-body harmony. The mind makes the body work. So you get into a stressful situation, all you have to do is start to condition yourself condition your response to be different. Change your habits. Small things are huge. Make small changes every day. Think about what you're doing. Think about how you're reacting to the situation. If you start to react negatively, what's going to happen? All right, that sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight, is going to kick in. Stress hormones. You're going to get stressed out. Might even have a panic attack. So where you have control of that, go back to very simple processes. Breathing is the simple. Old-fashioned, you get stressed, count to 10 or take that deep breath. We know now scientifically it releases the stress, it alleviates the stress. Now I'm going to go a little experiential or esoteric for a moment. Background from Eastern disciplines, meditation, Kung Fu, the martial arts, Zen art forms. Okay, there's a basis in all those systems where we start with the breathing. The breathing generates energy. For example, in the Chinese language, the word qi means air or breath or energy. When we think about that in Western terms or scientific terms, the things we've already talked about, the breath that we take in, the air we take in, the oxygen is energy to our bodies. Now, in these disciplines, the Japanese disciplines, though the same word for chi is ki, Western more people might be familiar with that word ki. It also means energy. So there's a belief, kind of like in Star Wars, not to get too out there with you, but the Force. We believe that chi or ki is an intrinsic energy. Right? Developed through breathing. And this chi or ki connects everything. This energy is in everything in the universe. And when you develop this chi, you have homeostasis, or balance. Mind, body, spirit, balance in your health. Physiologically, a good place of being is homeostasis. Your body is in physiological balance. Now, for some of you, that concept of chi might be a little bit out there, a little bit too esoteric. So let's think about things for a moment. I'm as a scientist, we have to quantify things. We have to measure something. If we can't quantify it, we can't measure it, it doesn't exist. That's kind of a basic premise in science. However, let's look at love. I think everybody can relate to this concept. We've all experienced it. We all know, or pretty much think we know what it is. We have experienced it for sure. Can you measure it? Can you quantify it? You can't put it in a petri dish, test tube. You cannot literally measure it or quantify it. So with Western science, this hardcore Western scientists may say it doesn't exist. However, I believe it exists, and I think every one of you out there knows it exists. However, we can measure, all right, its effects on us, and that's easy to do. The same thing with chi or ki, or this intrinsic energy. And where I'm going with this is my next videos, we're going to start going into the breathing, meditation, and some of these disciplines involving mind, body, spirit, breath, air, energy. So that's our next step, folks. Cellini, we'll see you on the next one. Be well, be safe, breathe. Take care.